Perdido is a common, catchy tune that jazz players play. Let's look at some of the things we can do with it here. There's a PDF file that goes with this video. To get it, go to www.petemartin.info, click Videos, and scroll down to Barry Harris for Jazz Mandolin. Really helps my channel if you click like, so please do that so more folks can find these videos. I really appreciate it. Perdido is a 32-bar tune with an AABA form that is very typical of jazz from the 1940s. Its easy but catchy melody has made it a common tune for bands and jam sessions. It is therefore worthwhile to learn. The common key for the tune is B flat. The chord progression in part A is mostly 2-5-1. The B part is a dominant 7 circle of fifths progression. Players call this a rhythm bridge, is because these are the changes of the B part of I Got Rhythm. I've labeled the parts A1, A2, B1, A3 on the PDF file. See the chord changes to Perdido in example 1. Barry has us find chord scale outlines for tunes. We saw these in episode 54, so review that video if necessary. The opening two measures of Perdido are a C minor 7 and an F7, a 2-5 progression in B flat major. Whenever we have a major 2-5 like we do here, Barry says ignore the 2 chord and improvise on all of it as if it was the 5 chord. Thus our chord outline will be F7 up and down. We see this in example 2. The next two measures are one measure of B flat major 7 and one measure of D minor 7 to G7. This is basically 1 to 6 dominant 7. Barry says this outline should be B flat up and down to the third of G. This means the third of the G7 chord, which is the note B. It is a common bebop sound, the classic example of which is the first two measures of the tune Donna Lee. See this in example 3. The next 4 measures of A part 1 is a repeat of the 4 measures we've already seen. See this in example 4. The only thing left is to get us to the end of A2. The last 2 measures are all B flat major 7. This is B flat up and down. See this in example 5. The B part is 2 measures of D7, 2 measures of G7, 2 measures of C7, and 2 measures of F7. We will play those respective scales up and down. See this in example 6. Now we can play all of Perdido using the scale outlines. See this in example 7. find this video useful, I ask that you consider supporting this channel and my website through my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/PeteMartin. For the very low price of $3 per month, you allow me to keep adding content on my YouTube channel and website. I also teach online lessons if anyone is interested. Thank you. Let's find some lines that fit this chord progression using the chord scale outline as a guide. We need 2 measures of F7. So let's start with a common Charlie Parker phrase from the root to 4 and surround the third, the note A. Then descend a 4-note chord, the notes A, F, D, and B flat. The next 4 notes are from the tritone B7 scale, the notes A, G sharp, F sharp, and E. This surrounds the note F, the 5th of the B flat chord. Play this in example 8. 1, 2. The B flat major 7 measure starts with a typical bebop rhythm, which ends the phrase on the offbeat and starts the next phrase on the offbeat. We then descend the B flat major scale to the 3rd of G, the note B. Remember example 3 earlier? Review that if necessary. This plays into an ascending diminished chord arpeggio which resolves on G. It's a very common Charlie Parker phrase you will hear on many recordings of different bebop players from that era. Play this in example 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to 2 more measures of F7. Descend the 9, root, and flat 7 of the F dominant scale. Pivot to the D note on the A string into a chromatic surround into C, the 5th of F7. Up a chord from A to G, then a chromatic surround into the F note. Play this in example 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get to the end of the A part is 2 measures of B flat major 7. I'm playing it like it is A2 or A3. This phrase is from pianist Wynton Kelly's solo on This I Dig of You. I covered this in episode 47, phrases from my favorite players. Check this out in example 11. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the whole A part. Play this in example 12. Now the B part. We start out with a common phrase, 3rd to 5th, with a 16th note triplet. I like to execute this by pulling off to get the G note. This is followed by Barry's 4 and 3 phrases. We saw this in episode 6, so review that if needed. This is followed on the G7 chord by Barry's 5 and 4 phrases, followed by a long descending chromatic run leading to the B flat note when the C7 chord arrives. Play this in example 13. For the C7 phrase, we play descending thirds with a rhythmic pattern. This is followed by a typical Charlie Parker phrase, a 4-note chord preceded by a chromatic half step for the F7 chord. This is followed by another 4-note ascending chord preceded by a chromatic half step, although this time no triplet. The line then jumps up to B flat, Then Barry's 3 phrase closes out part B. See this in example 14. We put both A and B parts together in example 15. Your assignment is to learn this solo, then work out more for Perdido on your own using phrases you have learned from Barry's method, along with your own improvising ideas. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell icon to be notified of new videos, click like, and check out my website and Patreon page. I'm Pete Martin. Thanks for watching.